Yo, YouTube, what's up, your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, guys? I'm back, guys. I'm on vacation, but I told you guys already, the lies won't stop, so I'm not going to stop. It don't matter if I'm on vacation. I'm still going to hit you guys with the facts. I'm still here for you guys, man. And I want to thank you guys for all the love, man. Everything you guys have done. Everything, all the comments. I appreciate that stuff, guys. And in this video, we're going to speak briefly about how Michael Jordan is held to a higher standard. And we're going to talk about a couple of situations that I'm talking about, guys. You know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit the play button. Listen to the information I have to tell you guys. Right? And let's roll, guys. So, yes, guys. If you followed my channel over the last several months, I've been doing a lot of these Michael Jordan videos, some of these videos about Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, but mostly about Michael Jordan and the lies that are being told about him and his career and about the era he played in, guys. And you guys get it. You guys understand because I'm reading you guys' comments and you guys understand. So much respect to you guys for showing me the love. But if you guys follow my channel, you've seen what I've been doing. One thing we can take away is that Michael Jordan is held to a higher standard. That's one of the things, one of the themes and a lot of these lies, right, that people are talking about Michael Jordan in the era he played in, is that it seems to me Michael Jordan is held to a higher standard, right? It's obvious, guys. No one is held to a higher standard than Michael Jordan. What are the ways that I'm talking about? What are some of the examples of this, right? Now, I wrote some of this stuff down because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any of these points. I just want to go over a couple of instances here. Number one of the more obvious things is Michael Jordan played on a quote-unquote super team. This is only being talked about with Michael Jordan, guys. I've done a video on this, debunking this. Many people have debunked this myth that Michael Jordan played on a quote-unquote super team. Michael Jordan never played on a quote-unquote super team. But the reason why Michael Jordan, that shows that Michael Jordan's held to a higher standard is because, let's think about this. They say that Michael Jordan played in a super team from 1996 to 1998, right? During the second three-peat, they call it a super team, right? Because they had Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen. So they're calling it a super team because he played with a couple of other Hall of Famers, right? I've told you about Tony Kukoc. We're not even going to get into that. So he played with Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, right? Two other Hall of Famers. They're calling it a super team for that reason alone. But guys, as I've said in the past, we can start with the beginning of the NBA's history. We can go all the way back to the 60s, guys, that there have been quote-unquote super teams or guys that played with way more help than Michael Jordan ever had, guys, ever had. We can go down the list. We can go down the list, but we don't have to do that because I've done videos on that. Only Michael Jordan is being held to that standard. He played in a super team. Nobody else played in a super team, though, right? Magic Johnson, Lakers were on a super team. Larry Bird's Boston Celtics were on a super team. Bill Russell's Celtics were on a super team. Wilt Chamberlain's Lakers were on a super team. Tim Duncan's Spurs were not a super team, right? None of these teams were super teams. It was only Michael Jordan's team. The Detroit Pistons with Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, and Isaiah Thomas, three Hall of Famers in their primes. That wasn't a super team, but Dennis Rodman at 35 years old makes the Bulls a super team when they're all older. You see the standard that Michael Jordan's held to, guys? Larry Bird, I never heard Larry Bird play on a super team, and I don't believe he did. But no one ever said that about Larry Bird when he played in probably the best back or the best front court in NBA history with Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson at point guard. You're telling me that was not a super team? I never heard anybody say that, right? I never heard anybody say that. You're telling me Magic Johnson's Showtime Lakers were not a super team? With Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Jamal Wilkes, Norm Nixon, James Worthy, Michael Cooper. That's not a super team. 4 Hall of Famers on that team, guys. That wasn't a super team. No, I never heard anybody say that. Only Michael Jordan's held to that standard that he played in a super team, guys. Right? So that's one instance right there that he's held to a higher standard. I've never heard that for anybody else, guys. Oh, Michael Jordan had to learn to win. How many times have you heard this nonsense, guys? Michael Jordan had to learn to win. Michael Jordan didn't come in as a winner. He had to learn to win, man. Where was Michael Jordan those first 3-4 years? He was losing. He wasn't winning. Oh, God. The standard that Michael Jordan is held to is unmatched, guys. Once again, I've done a video on this, guys. If we think about Michael Jordan first coming into the league, his first 3-4 seasons, guys, and we look at the teammates he was playing with, and then we compare that to guys that they compare him to, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson's, and all his other contemporaries, right? Isaiah Thomas, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone. If you guys go back, I've done videos on this. You go back and watch the teammates that they played with. Nobody in the history of the NBA came in with a roster like Michael Jordan 1985 Bulls. None of his other superstar contemporaries, guys. Go look who Magic Johnson came in playing with as a rookie his first 3-4 years. Larry Bird's first 3-4 years. Charles Barkley's first 3 years. All these guys, Isaiah Thomas, first 3-4 years, go back and check how many of these great players, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, all these guys played with Hall of Famers their first couple years in the league, all-stars, their first couple years in the league. Not Michael Jordan. He played with nobody his first 3 years in the league, no one. So Michael Jordan, once again, being held to a higher standard because he had to learn to win. He had to earn it. That's right. That's why Michael Jordan's considered the greatest of all time, man. He didn't fall into a roster with Hall of Famers and All-Stars. He had to wait and play with these guys and go through a rebuild with the Bulls while taking the beatings. And then he had to develop guys like B.J. Armstrong and Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant. He had to develop these guys. No other player in NBA history can say they had to develop guys while in a rebuild, while still making the playoffs, while taking all the beatings and being the leader on their team with no help. None of those guys I mentioned can say that, but Michael Jordan's held to a higher standard, guys. So he had to earn it. He had to learn to win. No duh. He had nobody there. What else? Oh, this one's crazy to me, guys. Michael Jordan is not the greatest scorer of all time. I've heard people say in the past that James Harden is a greater scorer than Michael Jordan. This is the standard I'm talking about. Think about it, guys. Any other player in the NBA history had 10 scoring titles and led the NBA's history in points per game, right? Average. Any other player had 10 scoring titles, they would easily be considered the greatest scorer of all time. Easily. Easily, right? People say Will Chamberlain's got 7 scoring titles, doesn't have the highest point per game average, but they'll say Will Chamberlain. They'll say James Harden, who is the complete opposite when it counts the most. Yeah, James Harden could score for a couple of seasons when they were cheesing those rules and the flopping and the free throws and the chucking up the threes. Yeah, James Harden was scoring some points. Where was that guy in the postseason? Where is that James Harden when it counts? Michael Jordan's the greatest scorer in the regular season, the postseason, and in the finals, guys. It's not even close, man. But only Michael Jordan's held to the standard where they'll say, oh, man, I've heard, what's that guy, Daryl Morey? You're talking about James Harden, the greatest scorer of all time, greater than Michael Jordan. Get out of here, man. But people were doing videos on this. No. Only Michael Jordan's held to that standard. Guys got 10 scoring titles, guys. The highest regular season average, the highest playoff average, but somehow there are other greater scorers than Michael Jordan, man. Think about that. 10 scoring titles in 11 full seasons, guys. Let that sink in for a second. This one I've heard before. Michael Jordan's not a good teammate. Michael Jordan's a horrible teammate because he pushed his guys in practice, because he cursed at these guys and he badmouthed them. He pushed them. He was hard on these guys. Michael Jordan wasn't a nice guy. He wasn't a good teammate. People literally say that, guys. They say that Michael Jordan was not a nice teammate. He was not a good teammate. But then they'll say that these guys who are playing now are good teammates. The guys who get all their players traded, who go behind their backs to the management and say, I need these guys traded out of here. I want this guy on my team. The guys who sit out for load management while their teammates are out there busting their butts. You're telling me those are good teammates? Those are good teammates. The guy, Michael Jordan, who played every single game like it was his last, who came to practice and played intense every practice, who wanted to push these guys to become winners, who never did anything that he didn't do himself, who held himself to a higher standard than anybody else, he's the bad teammate. He's the bad one. The guy that was always there. The guy that was there to pick them up. He was the big brother. Remember, I told you guys, Michael Jordan was the enforcer on the Bulls. He stood up to the bullies when the other guys like Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant were getting punked out there. Michael Jordan was the one who stepped up for them. But that's a bad teammate, though, because he was young at these guys. Get out of here, man. Only Michael Jordan's held to that standard. I ain't hear nobody saying that about Larry Bird when he was riding these guys, right? People forget that some of these other guys are just as intense. Bill Russell's, Magic Johnson. Just anybody calling them bad teammates because they were hard on their guys? What was Michael Jordan doing? Did Michael Jordan ever throw these guys under the bus? No, I've told you guys, Michael Jordan was always praising his teammates, always giving them their just due. Because he was a great teammate and he had class, man. But Michael Jordan's a bad teammate, right? Michael Jordan's a bad teammate. The only people who say that are people who didn't play sports. That's the only people who say those things, guys. You don't know any better, man. You watching this era, these clowns. These guys are terrible teammates. I wouldn't want to play. Did Michael Jordan ever walk off a court early? Did he ever walk off a court early? I don't ever remember Michael Jordan walking off the court early. But he's a bad teammate, though. We see a lot of guys walking off the court early these days, guys, right? But Michael Jordan was a bad teammate. See the high standard that Michael Jordan's held to. Oh, Michael Jordan. This is the best one right here. I'm going to leave it on this, guys. Michael Jordan never spoke up. Michael Jordan never spoke up for social justice or any of this other nonsense. Michael Jordan never spoke up. Because once again, they're holding Michael Jordan to a higher standard because many players in NBA history have not spoken up. right? On social justice issues or things like that. But Michael Jordan's the one that's always picked about. When, in fact, Michael Jordan has spoke out many times against certain things. He just doesn't look for the recognition for these things. So you may not know about it. And I posted that thing about Michael Jordan and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, man. Go back and look for that soundbite of Michael Jordan. He spoke for about 3 minutes, guys, in his locker about Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf being suspended by the NBA and how it was not right. Michael Jordan spoke up when a lot of guys would not have, right? He didn't say next question or no comment. Michael Jordan spoke up many times and he did things for people many, many times, but does not look for the recognition. But he's held to that standard. Many, many players in the NBA haven't said a damn thing about anything, guys. But no one points a finger at these guys. Nobody. So yeah, guys, these are some of the instances that Michael Jordan, that I feel that he's held to a higher standard. And there's many, many more that I can go through. We could talk about how Michael Jordan's held to a high. Oh, Michael Jordan played for Phil Jackson, the greatest coach of all time. Number one, Phil Jackson's not the greatest coach of all time, guys. He's not. He's probably top 5, no doubt. He's not the greatest coach of all time, though, guys. But people try to pump up Phil Jackson like Scottie Pippen for Michael Jordan. But no one talks about Pat Riley coaching the Lakers, right? Or Red Auerbach coaching the Celtics all those years, right? No one ever mentions that. They mention Bill Russell's 11 rings, never mention Red Auerbach, right? Nobody else in NBA history played for a great coach. Does anybody ever mention Greg Popovich with Tim Duncan when they mention Tim Duncan's greatness? No, they don't say, oh, Tim Duncan played for Greg Popovich. That's why he won. They don't say that. They only say that about Michael Jordan. Does anybody give Chuck Daly his props for coaching the Pistons? No one ever brings up Chuck Daly. The man gets no love. All-time great coach. But Michael Jordan's held to a high standard. They try to tear down Michael Jordan. All this nonsense. He played for Phil Jackson. Like it takes away from Michael Jordan. Where was Phil Jackson when Michael Jordan was a rookie? Where was he coaching? Where was Phil Jackson's first 3 years? Those first 4 years, where was Phil Jackson at? Michael Jordan was dominating the league, man. Yeah, he wasn't maybe winning because he had no team. They were in a rebuild. 3 coaches in 3 years. 3 roster rotations, man. But Michael Jordan played for Phil Jackson, guys. Remember that. That's what they try to do. They try to make it seem like Phil Jackson was more important to the Bulls winning in Michael Jordan than Michael Jordan himself was. But they never bring up Pat Riley with Magic. They never bring up any of these other coaches, Chuck Daly with Isaiah Thomas. They never bring up Red Auerbach when you talk about Bill Russell. There's been many, many great coaches. Greg Popovich, no one talks about, but only when Michael Jordan's the winner. Oh, he had Phil Jackson, though. That's why. Yeah, Tex winner, hit the triangle offense. What else you guys want to say? Everything, right? Let me know when Phil Jackson won something when he was on the New York Knicks. You guys probably don't remember, but Phil Jackson was like the general manager for the New York Knicks for like 4 or 5 years, and he was horrible. His best draft pick was Porzingis, and how'd that work out for the Knicks? He was drafting guys like Frank Ntilikina. This is Phil Jackson, guys. He didn't want to coach the Knicks, right? They were trying to get him the coach, but he wanted to take the general manager spot. Why? Because he didn't have Michael Jordan, no Kobe Bryant or Shaquille O'Neal, right? Where was Phil Jackson to coach a team with just a bunch of regular role players or maybe one all-star, but not an all-time great legend? Where was Phil Jackson? Stop trying to bring down Michael Jordan with all these excuses, with all this, like I said, being held to a higher standard, man. Let me know what you guys think. You guys probably hear the same thing. Like I said, there's other things I could bring up, man. It's only Michael Jordan, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.